I think Aaron Rodgers, along with some help, can save the Jets. Aaron Rodgers himself, no, he cannot save the Jets.
Straight up out the gate, I'm press game time. Hey, look, I'm here to win.
Joining us on In Shambles today, we have Super Bowl champion Antrel Rolle. How are you? How we doing?
I'm doing amazing, man. I'm blessed. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Super excited to have you on the show. I want to get right into it, man. So you played with and against some of the best players in NFL history. What was your most memorable moment from playing football?
The run that the Giants made in 2011 season. We were 7-17 going into the last two games of the season. It was do or die for us. And we all know the outcome. We ended up clicking. The team ended up having this, undeniable chemistry and camaraderie that, led us to Super Bowl 46. And, we were crowned the champions. And I think, the Super Bowl in itself was great, but I think it's more of the brotherhood and what it actually took in order to reach that level is what really stands out to me, because it was a hard-nosed grind. It was a hard-nosed grind, a lot of sacrifices, a lot of pain, blood, sweat, tears, but no one ever folded. And that's what it takes in order to be a Super Bowl caliber team.
Love it, man. You know what I didn't love is I was a Patriots fan.
Oh,
and you
man.
beat us. So
my apologies.
It's all right. You know what? You guys fought hard. You fought hard. But what was interesting is the Giants in 2011, when you guys made that Super Bowl, that was the first time in NFL history that a team with a negative point differential reached the Super Bowl, let alone win it. What point in the season did you guys believe, we can actually win this thing?
I can't tell you it was a point in the season, because I can't tell you that we were a Super Bowl caliber team. I knew that we had potential, and I knew that we weren't playing to our fullest potential. I wouldn't say that I necessarily thought we were a Super Bowl contending team. But when we did have those two games left, I think what we did as a unit, I think we all dialed in and we all bought into the same system, which was sacrifice for the guy next to you. Let's put all the selfish needs, desires, wants, accolades, statistics. Let's put all that to the side, and let's just grind, and let's just dog it out for the guy next to you, and let's just see how good we can be. We didn't have Super Bowl on our minds, but we were just like, let's take it one at a time, one game at a time, all the selfishness to the side, and let's just give it all we got. Let's just be dialed in. Let's be all in, and that was the outcome.
You did it.
Yeah,
you won the damn Super Bowl, man.
Won the Super Bowl.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
that is incredible. So in that Super Bowl, you defeated Tom Brady and the New England Patriots. Did you or anybody on your team fear Tom Brady?
Fear? I wouldn't say fear. Respected? Absolutely. Did we know what he was capable of? Absolutely. Now, if you ask my coaches, they may give you a different story. I'm sure my coaches will say, hell yeah, they feared him. Because just from the play sheet alone, it was different than any other play sheet we had the 20 games prior. But, Tom Brady is a guy that has that it factor. And what I mean by that is it doesn't matter how much he's up by, how much he's down by, you're going to get the same guy. He's going to keep his foot on that throat. And he's just a relentless competitor. He's a fierce competitor. I mean, honestly, for a guy who might not have had the measurables and, all the praise as far as athleticism, he sure as hell can make every throw. He sure as hell is an accurate quarterback when need to be. I remember there was a point in time in the Super Bowl where I believe he completed 17 passes straight. And, that says a lot going against a fire-hot Giants defense that we had. But that just shows you the caliber of guy he is. He's relentless. He has a never quit, never die mentality. And I think that's one of the reasons why he is considered the GOAT. I definitely consider him the GOAT. I don't see anyone who can or will surpass him.
I don't think it's possible. I even named my dog Brady. That's how much I love the dude. Your quarterback in that Super Bowl was Eli Manning. obviously now huge broadcaster alongside Peyton. Was he that funny in the locker room?
Listen, he's a funny guy, man. He's a funny guy. He's a prankster. He's a guy that, and a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that about him. But Eli's a very warming guy. I shared a locker next to his for 5 years straight, man, and I enjoyed every minute of it. He's a guy that you want to be a leader, not only of your offense but of your team. I can't say enough good things about the guy. Outside of his athletic ability and the things that he's been able to do for the New York Giants in his career, I just think he's just a stand-up guy all the way around.
Yeah.
You can tell he was raised very well. He respects the organization, he respects his peers, and more important, he respects the game of football, and he gives it everything he's got.
Yeah, man, I definitely hated seeing him in the Super Bowl, but now I have a love for him. I mean, he's a great broadcaster, super funny dude. You can tell. I mean, you can just tell watching him. He's a great guy.
No, absolutely.
So, you're a stand-up guy as well. Giants legend. The Giants. Odell Beckham Jr. was a star for that franchise for a long time. Do you think they made a mistake letting him go?
I don't think that they necessarily made a mistake. I think it was a combination of things. I think, Odell was very, very young in his career. And, people ask me this question often, and I tell people, listen, if he had a chance to do it all over, would he do some of the things that he did? Would he make some of the mistakes he made? I'm sure he wouldn't. I'm sure if he can go back on it, I'm sure he would hope and pray that he had done things differently. But it kind of comes with a territory when you're a guy and you honestly become a world sensation overnight. I mean, a lot of people knew who he was. A lot of people knew, what his potential was. We didn't know, to what extent. But when you look at a guy like Odell Beckham, right? Good-looking guy, carries himself well, nice built guy, charismatic, has the attitude, has the playmaking ability, has the dog, has the look, the attitude to go along with it. And then you become an overnight sensation. If you put that on a platform for 100 guys to take, 98 would probably react the way that he did. It's a hard luggage to carry. And, I just thank God, that he didn't get himself in any trouble, any permanent trouble. He did some little antics off the field that I'm sure he's not even proud of. And, him and I have had conversations about it. But Odell is a stand-up guy. I think he, even after some of the things that he endured being with the Giants, I think when he had his next go around in Cleveland, I think he definitely made up a different name for himself. And I think that he actually matured a whole lot more while being with the Cleveland Browns. And sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes it just might he might just needed a change of scenery. And maybe the Giants needed the same thing. Now, I didn't like it. I didn't like the move. I felt like he could have honestly owned, the state of New York. I think, it was his territory to claim. But, God had a different deck of cards for him, and you got to play what you're dealt.
Yeah, and, I mean, honestly, look, if you were to put a regular guy into Odell Beckham Jr. scenario, he probably does way worse stuff and way worse antics than he did. Odell really did carry himself for an overnight sensation. He did it pretty well.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the truth.
Absolutely.
That is the
truth. You
truth.
gotta give credit. You have to remember, you're still talking about a guy who's, at this point in time, when that happened, he was 22 years old.
Yeah, that's how old I am. You put me in that position.
22 years old. Like, I can imagine myself being in that spotlight at 22 years old. Man, I probably would have went crazy.
Yeah.
But, like I said, for the most part, man, I think he carried himself pretty well. Like I say, there was some antics that I'm sure he's not proud of, but nothing that was so crazy and so crazy and so
nothing too bad.
Yeah,
nothing
he
too
didn't
bad.
get in legal trouble. He didn't. He wasn't. You're gonna hear his name. Obviously, you're gonna hear his name. He's Odell Beckham.
Yeah. He was a dog. He was a dog.
But as far as playmaking ability, I tell people all the time, he's arguably. Well, he has the best talent I've ever been around. I
Really?
played guys that were phenomenal wide receivers, and Larry Fitzgerald, Anquan Bolden, like, in my
Those
eyes, it damn
guys.
near doesn't get better than that. But Odell Beckham Jr., he brought something different. You're talking about a guy who
Yeah.
not even 6 feet tall, can jump out of the gym, can make every throw, can make every catch. He's just a guy that was just an all-around athlete. Like, when you see him on the basketball court, you're like, damn. You see him on the soccer field, you're like, damn. You see him throwing a pitch, you're like, damn. You see him throwing a football, you're like, damn. He was a
He did
guy
it
that can
all.
honestly do it all. But as a wide receiver, I think he was special.
He was. And he had that type of swagger about him. And, who else had the swagger was 2001 Miami Hurricanes, a team you were a part of. Was that the greatest college football team of all time?
Oh, absolutely. I don't think there's even a question now. There's teams that you can argue and say that they could have maybe competed with us, I guess you want to say. I really don't think so. I think Texas had a great team. I know LSU had a great team. I know the USC's had great teams. But if you were to match those teams up against us in 2001, there's no way in hell they'd win the game. That's for sure.
Hey, fair enough, man. You guys were tough. Back to the NFL, though. Wide receivers and defensive backs. Who do you think's overrated and underrated?
Neither. I think when you're talking about wide receivers, I mean, come on, man. They sell the tickets. I mean, quarterbacks are quarterbacks, yeah, but the wide receivers are the divas of the offense. They get jiggy with it. That's what you want to see from the wide receivers, right?
That's what you go to see, yeah. You buy the ticket for
and I think they get their due. I think they get their well due. Cornerbacks, in my opinion, I wouldn't say that they're underrated. Maybe in the spotlight they're underrated, but when you're talking about dollar signs, I think they're rated well. I think they get their payout, which is, in my opinion, the hardest position to play on the defense side of the ball, without a doubt.
Why do you think so?
I play multiple positions. I mean, when you're telling someone to cover elite wide receivers and with these quarterbacks and their accuracies and their arms, and you're talking about making a throw and breaking on the ball, intercepting the ball, and covering these guys, blanketing these guys. I mean, some of these guys they're dynamic. They're in the league of their own, and you're asking someone to cover them backwards. To me, it's just the hardest position on the field because you're on the island. When you're at safety, you have linebacker and defensive line help. When you're at linebacker, vice versa. But a lot of times when they call that cover one, that blanket coverage, you're on an island. And it's either win or
Just
go home.
you and him.
It's win or go home. And you have to have – the hardest part about cornerback to me is the letting go of the last play and playing the next play. You have to have a serious case of amnesia. You have to forget that last play, forget it, and drive on. And a lot of times you're going to find corners, it's not that they can't play because they can play. Obviously, they've been there, but they don't know how to get over the last play. And that's one of the hardest things for defensive backs to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, got to have short-term memory. I know me personally, I didn't play professional football, but if I did – and I got toasted on a route, that would be in my head the entire game. So I have a lot of respect for the ability to do that, man.
It's tough.
Yeah. It seems like a lot of rules these days are kind of targeted at defense and defensive backs in terms of quarterback safety, wide receiver safety. I mean, how do you feel about all these rule changes these days?
I think when you're talking about targeting a guy, defenseless players, so forth and so on, I think there's a fine line, If you go hit a guy who's defenseless, whether he's catching the ball, we're taught as defensive back to detach them from the ball. A headshot, that's something different. I agree with that 1,000%. But when you're talking about anywhere between the neck down, that's fair game. We're taught to detach on contact. So that doesn't mean let him catch the ball and then try to detach. No, we're on a timing system. We're taught backpedal, brake, target. We're taught that for a reason to be on a timing system. And I just think sometimes the NFL is extremely soft. And I'm not going to even talking about as far as the quarterback. Oh my God, you can't even you can't blow your breath on those guys without there being a
No, you can't even look at him. You can't even look at him.
you can't do anything to those guys now. So they're so protected right now. It's not even funny. Like no wonder Tom Brady played till he's 45 years old. You know.
He didn't get touched.
Right.
He only had one serious injury. I think it was a knee surgery. But,
right.
Hey, so be it, I guess.
Yeah, man.
At one point in time, you were the highest paid safety in the NFL. You remember that time?
Man, that was so short-lived. But, I enjoyed it for the few years that it was. And, it's funny. I remember it because I believe Eric Berry came right behind me and broke that.
Man, what? Come on, give me some purchases with that money. What'd you get?
Man, listen, at that point in time, I already had money, so I didn't really have to go and get, any crazy purchases. Keep it in the bank, let that money make some money, investments, smart investments, and that's about it. But at that point in time, I was just looking to secure my future, secure my family's future, and that was pretty much it. Nothing that I really splurged on.
Love that. I'll hold some. If you have
I got you. Hey,
why not?
When you come to Miami, Tootsie's on me.
Toots. We got the second floor at Tootsie's. A little shoulder rubs. Well, one of my favorite things about you is you weren't alone in the NFL. You had 3 family members who were also in the NFL. 3 other roles, correct?
Well, they're not close relatives. We're from the same place. Our families are from the islands down there in Bahamas, Nassau. But not close related family members, no.
Are they like cousins?
Like Samari, I don't know who else. Myron was, he had a short time in NFL. But those guys, we're not like first, second cousins, anything like that. Our families are just from the same place.
Got you. Do you think? I want you to start, bench, cut NFL families, okay?
Bench, cut, okay.
We got the Manning family, paid into Eli, the Kelsey brothers, Jason and Travis, and then we'll go with the Diggs brothers. We'll go Stephon and Trayvon.
I'm gonna start the Manning family.
Fair.
I'm gonna start the Manning family.
A little hesitation there.
Yeah, you know why? Because I'm trying not to be biased and I'm trying to be strategic. So you know what I'll probably do? I have to start the Manning brothers because it's quarterback. Quarterbacks are rule of the team. But I really want to say I want to start the Kelsey brothers because now you have an offensive lineman as well as a dynamic tight end / receiver. And then I would have to cut the Diggs brothers, although I do love Stephon Diggs and his game. I like younger brother as well. I think he gambles a lot at times, and sometimes he gets beat a lot. But he is an interception machine, and he can definitely get the turnover, which is what the offense loves. I will start the Manning brothers, bench the Kelsey brothers, and cut the Diggs brothers.
Diggs, for example, Trayvon Diggs, he gets a lot of heat for seeking out interceptions. He kind of like you mentioned, and what the media says is he jumps too hard. He's not actually playing defense. What do you make of that situation?
I think it's accurate. I think it's accurate. Just being defensive back and watching his games. He has great makeup speed. He's a long, rangy guy. He can play the ball extremely well. Most importantly, when the ball is in his area, he knows how to come down with it and attack it at the highest point. But he does gamble a lot of times. And honestly, a lot of times you're gonna find that scenario when you see a guy that has a lot of interceptions. A lot of times they are gambling, and sometimes it might not end the way we want it to end. And I guess that's just those are just chances that you have to take. But all in all, I think he's a great cornerback. I think he's a solid cornerback for the Dallas Cowboys, and I think his career is just going to be on the up and up.
Going to keep going up,
yeah.
Especially with that last name. You're destined for greatness.
Right, absolutely. His brother has been doing his thing for numerous of years now, and he's not slowing down anytime soon. He's still a hell of a playmaker, definitely one of the better wide receivers in this league. And, I think he answers the call. Like, he steps up. That's what I like most about Stephon Diggs is, when the tough gets going, he goes and gets tough. And that's admirable, in a guy like him.
Talking about New York football and the Bills, technically New York football. We got the Giants, obviously, which you played for, and then we got the Jets, which have not won anything since 1969. But now they're trying to trade for Aaron Rodgers. That whole scenario is going on. They're doing a bunch. Apparently, there's a wish list of guys he wants on the team. Can Aaron Rodgers save the Jets?
I think Aaron Rodgers, along with some help, can save the Jets. Aaron Rodgers himself, no, he cannot save the Jets. Amazing.
Can anybody say? I don't know if anyone can save that franchise.
Yeah. An amazing player, definitely one of the most feared quarterbacks in the NFL. You know, he's a guy that can make every throw with his eyes closed. Probably the most accurate. Well, you know, not probably. He is the most accurate quarterback I've ever played against. But he's going to need himself some weapons, and I know he has a couple weapons over there already. He's going to need some more. And I thought in Green Bay that's what he didn't have enough of, are the weapons. But then again, you know, Aaron, you know, I think I need to see a little bit more from him. I need to see a little bit more dog. You know, we see
little dog status.
Yeah, we see the accuracy, we see the athleticism, we see all those things. But I think me, on a personal note, I need to see more of that grit, that it factor. You know what I mean? He's so even keel all the time, and maybe it's just his facial expressions. But you know, he's a guy that was drafted with myself, so I'm gonna be a little harder on him. You know, being out of that '05 class, so I need to see a little bit more dog coming from him. I think once he let go and he show a little bit more dog, I think he'll become just that much more of a better player and leader.
Yeah, and look, I only think he has a few years left, so
yeah,
time to put it on. Time to lay it on.
I mean, he can have as much as 4 years left because he got it, but I'll give him another 2 years until he just wants to maybe hang it up.
Yeah, I mean, he thought he was going to do it this year until he did his little darkness retreat and decided against it. University of Miami, huge college football program. They even made the Final Four in basketball this year as well, so congrats to them. But NIL is such a big discussion in terms of college athletes getting paid. How much money do you think you would get if NIL was around when you were in college?
You know, that's a question that I cannot answer. You know, and the reason why I can't answer it is because there's so many guys on that team that would have, you know, been in the touch and the reach of so much money. You know, we had a phenomenal team, man, and we talk about that. You know, I talk about that with some of my peers all the time. Like, what if they had the NIL during our times? Oh my God! Like, forget about it.
So I was looking at the stats. 38 players from that team were selected in the draft. In the 2001 draft, 17 players from Miami were selected in the first round. That's more than half of the first round. Ridiculous. And there was an estimate that the 01 Hurricanes would cost nearly $120 million if they were an NFL team.
Listen, in '01, I might not have really made any coins, being that we were just special team guys. You know what I mean? We were special team guys getting the game where needed. Now, that '04, you would have to pay me some serious dollars. You know, '03 and '04, you would have to pay me some serious dollars.
And I'll help you carry it, man.
Like I think about guys, you know, like Sean Taylor and Ken Dorsey and Ed Reeves. You know, those guys would have been making stupid money, man. It would have been crazy.
Man, I wish I was playing for Miami. You know?
Right.
I was 1 year old though. I don't think I could have. You played You played a lot of basketball once you stepped away from football. You were telling me, just, you know, for fun, for exercise. Who do you think has better athletes, the NFL or the NBA?
NFL all day.
Really? Why is that?
All day, because I think there's a lot more NFL players that can play basketball, but you're not going to find a lot of basketball players that can play in the NFL.
The only time I feel like an NBA player can go to NFL, at least in college, you know, think about Antonio Gates. You know, he played college basketball, went to the NFL.
You're talking about a handful, but if you ever hung out with an NFL team in the summer, we go to like a rec league or, you know, LA Fitness, you will see how NFL players they can really boogie. Like, we can ball.
They can ball.
You know what I'm saying? I know I can hoop. You know, I can go. And, you know, I know there's a lot of players on just the teams that I've been a part of that can really, really hoop. But I don't think you can find a lot of NBA players that can really even take a hit, let alone give one. You know, I think little bit on the side. It's a little bit on the soft side. I'm sure you got some guys that can go out there and do their thing. But that's why they said football has made the most NBA players known to man.
Who from the NFL right now do you think could make the NBA? I'm going DK Metcalf. I think he could do it.
Nah, I think he got the size and the bounce and everything. But you gotta have it with his size. You gotta have crazy handles. He's a 6'3", 6'4" guy. You gotta have crazy handles at that size. I don't know if he can handle the ball like that. I saw Stephon Diggs hooping the other day, but he'll be more like a shorter side, like a Kyle Lowry type guy. I'm not sure, man. I would have to just go back into my memory bank a little bit and see what's up with that.
In the NFL, one of your most memorable teammates again was Eli Manning. Send us off with your best/favorite Eli Manning story.
Eli, like my best story about him is not anything that's funny. My best story about him is, going into Super Bowl 46. As a young guy, I had been a part of a Super Bowl before and lost. Going into Super Bowl 46, we called a team meeting, or he called a team meeting, I should say. And his message was very short, simple, and direct. Let's go out here to take care of business. There's going to be a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of festivities. There's going to be a lot of parties. There's going to be a lot of distractions. We're not here for the distractions. We're here to win a football game. Let someone else take care of your tickets. Let the outsiders enjoy the parties and the festivities. When we win this game, we'll have a lot of time to party. Let's go take care of business. And something as simple as that, it may sound just that simple. But for a guy like myself who went to a Super Bowl as a youngster, who was involved with the tickets, was involved with the parties, the festivities, who wanted to be a part of, felt like, damn, I'm here. I don't want to miss out. But that's not the main thing at task. The main thing at task is winning that damn game. And just by him saying that, it resonated with me so much, and it just felt like he was speaking directly to me. And I hope, the rest of the team felt and heard the message as such. And to me, that's my most memorable Eli moment, because he wasn't a guy of many words, but he felt the need to take it upon himself and address the team in that manner. And I'm forever thankful for that moment, because I think it helped me along the way and throughout the process of the Super Bowl, where I had nothing but laser focus.
Damn, man, I'm ready to run through a brick wall.
He had me right. He had me right.
How often do you wear your ring, by the way?
Never worn it.
Office. You've never worn it once?
I may have put it on, or like,
all right, yeah,
or like
okay,
show some fair. Kids, show and tell. Look,
yeah.
But me to wear it in the personal, no, I've never worn it.
Got you. Well, Antrel, thank you so much for coming on, man. Great stories, great advice. See you next time on In Shambles. See you guys.
Y'all look nervous, breathing out heavy. Look, we gon' keep it going till it's raining confetti. I'm in the camera smiling, cheese, don't it look like some confetti? I got it. We ready.